Hey YouTube, how's everybody doing? JC here with the Cuban Redneck DIY channel. Thank you for stopping by. Super special thanks to those who have subscribed. Little channels like this one really get ahead when you guys share, like, and specifically subscribe. So pardon the crappy mood, not being my cheerful self, but it is the 20th of January. And today is, in my opinion, a very sad day for Americans. It's a very sad day for our republic and specifically for democracy. And when I say democracy, I mean when people go out and vote and their vote is counted. It's important to point out that in places like Venezuela, North Korea, China, Cuba, people go out and vote every 4 years. However, the outcome of that election has already been predetermined. So, as Stanley said, it is not who votes, but who counts the votes. Um, wasn't sure what to do for a project, and I had a flashback last night when I was wrapping up and cleaning up, and that is in my race shop over my toolbox. I used to have an American flag there, and every time, every so often, that I just walk up to the toolbox and I get that flashback in my head. So I've decided to do something that I believe that every American should have and should display, and that is an American flag. Um, I could have gone the easy way and just got a piece of plywood and put tape on it and paint it, whatever, or even buy a cloth one, made in China, well, places. But I've decided to make one. I decided to make one that is made here in the U.S. by an American, and also want to make it to specs because I don't think that a lot of people understand or know that there are specs for building a U.S. flag. So with that said, let's run over to the store, pick up some wood, and build ourselves an American flag up to specs.
I don't know if you guys have noticed, but as of late the price of wood is getting out of control. Anyways, I was walking around Lowe's and I ran into these fence boards on sale for $1.98. I think they are perfect for my project. What I like about these over the regular white pine everyone uses for building wood American flags is the texture. I want my wooden flag to look aged and rustic. After picking up a few pieces, I went over to Walmart down the street, which like always was a mess. However, I was pleasantly surprised to find these craft paints that are made in the USA. I picked up some white, a flag red, a cobalt blue, and headed back to the garage. I said during the intro that one of my goals was to build this wood American flag to specs. To do this, the best thing to do is to use an online calculator. If you Google US flag calculator, you will end up with several options. However, I chose the 𝐀𝐦𝐞𝐫𝐢𝐜𝐚 calculator because it allows me to reverse engineer the design by just entering one of the dimensions.
Alright guys, there is one special tool I will be using in making this flag, and that is this shredding chainsaw. I don't even know what to call this thing. I ordered this a while back from eBay, and that is originally intended to make it a wavy flag. And never used this before, so we'll see what I hope that I can achieve the picture that I have on my head in doing this, because what I would like, the finish that I would like to do is that I would like at the end to look shredded. I want this flag to look like it has survived hell and came back. So with that said, let's get this thing set up. When you this thing, be aware that this thing comes with a couple of retainer clips, and there's no manual, no instructions, or nothing on it. But I would guess if you turn it on with those clips in place, it's going to smack you in the face. So all it is a chainsaw chain sandwiched between two plates. Very simple design, but kind of clever. The other thing is stars. I got this from a friend of mine up in Jacksonville. I believe he's selling them on eBay. I will try to get a link, put it in the description. These are 1 inch, and I think we have like 60 something in here. Anyhow, let's start prepping our wood, and then we'll go ahead and paint our stars and go from there.
By prepping our work, I mean giving it a quick sanding to all the wood pieces. I don't want to smooth them out, but I want them smooth enough where I can push them through the table saw without it getting caught on a splinter or anything like that. For this, I use the Alberta Standard and 100 grit paper. My wooden flag is 30 7/8 long, but I mark all my boards to 31 inches just so that I can trim any imperfections later on. It was during these measurements that I realized I didn't need so many boards. 2 will suffice since the stripes are only 1 1/4 inches. With all the boards marked, I moved to the miter saw and cut them to length. From there, we moved to the contractor saw and ripped them to 1 1/4 inches. Because all of these boards are of different thickness, I decided to put a small chamfer at the edge where they meet, in hope that I can hide some of the imperfections. After taking a quick break for a snack, I jump right into staining. Some people may call this painting, but it's actually more like staining. I diluted the craft paint with rubbing alcohol to a very watery consistency, probably about 60 to 70% alcohol to paint. This mixture will stain the wood while letting all the wood grain show through. Not only that, but because of the alcohol, it will dry in about 10 to 15 minutes. After doing the white, I realized that I should have done the blue first since I needed to glue the stars. With that out of the way, I did the red and put all the pieces to dry while I glued the stars. When it comes to gluing the stars, it's a little bit confusing because the US flag calculator spacing for the stars is not to the center of the star itself, but rather to one of the pointy edges. Anyhow, I made a template, and after correcting for the spacing, I made dots in the center where each star is supposed to go. I proceeded to glue them in place. Note that a small dab will do, and after not being able to get that from the bottle, I opted for a Q-tip. With all of the parts painted and our stars in place, it is time for assembly. As I watched the replay, I realized how dumb it was in my part to do this way. If you use a 1/4 inch substrate, this would be a lot easier and faster. Anything will do, MDF, plywood, even 1/8 inch hardboard. Also know that I have added alcohol to my glue to accelerate the drying time. As I start to run out of daylight, it is time to do one more thing, and that is the shredding of the edge. Please know that this is 100% optional, and to be honest, I wish I would have left it out. This is my first time using this tool, and although I can see the potential, I just don't have enough experience with it to generate the finish that I was looking for. Last but not least is a light coat of satin clear to accentuate the color and give it a protective coat.
Hey guys, so here's the final product. I'm extremely happy the way the project came out, especially the way the detail of the wood shows right through the paint. In regards to the shredded end, I have to do a little bit of practice on that, but it is a technique that I will be employing in future projects. Overall, if I have any regrets, I would say it's the size. I started with 1 inch stars. I should have had reordered them because I really wanted a larger flag. But everything boils down to calculating the proper dimensions. So with that said, I also want to mention that I know that a lot of people are not up to the task of making a wood American flag. However, there's a lot of Americans in need of help without work right now. and who do these kind of projects for a living. And you can really help them out by buying one of them. Take a look at your local flea market, your local farmers market, online marketplaces, and so on. Just make sure they're made in the US. So with that said, my name is JC. This is the Cuban Redneck DIY channel. Thank you for stopping by. I look forward to having you as a subscriber, and I'll see you on my next video.